Can a nation ever truly compensate for its historical injustices? This question, while complex and thought-provoking, is at the heart of a growing conversation around reparations for past atrocities. In the United States, this conversation centers on reparations for slavery and the generations of systemic discrimination that followed. Slavery, a brutal and inhumane practice, was the bedrock of the country's early economy, with millions of African men, women, and children forcibly brought to North America to work in brutal conditions. But the end of slavery in 1865 did not mark the end of racial injustice. The period of Reconstruction was quickly followed by the era of Jim Crow laws, a set of policies which enforced racial segregation and further entrenched systemic discrimination. These laws, in place until the mid-20th century, were designed to marginalize African Americans and maintain white supremacy. Even after the Civil Rights Act of 1964 outlawed racial discrimination in public places and employment, Black Americans continued to face systemic barriers. From housing discrimination to educational disparities, the legacy of slavery and Jim Crow laws is still felt today. In recent years, there has been a growing call for reparations to address these historical injustices. The idea of reparations is not new. In fact, the United States has a history of paying restitution for past wrongs, such as the internment of Japanese Americans during World War II. One of the first cities to implement a reparations program was Evanston, Illinois. In 2019, the City Council approved a program to address historical housing discrimination. Black residents or their descendants who lived in Evanston between 1919 and 1969 were eligible for a $25,000 direct benefit. The program, initially restricted to housing-related expenses, has since expanded to include a cash option. Other cities like San Francisco and states like California have begun exploring similar initiatives. Some proposals include using revenue from cannabis sales to fund reparations programs. Even colleges and universities are acknowledging their ties to slavery and taking steps towards reparative actions. However, these programs are not without controversy. Determining eligibility and the form of reparations can be complex. There are also debates about whether these programs go far enough in addressing systemic racial injustices. In summary, the conversation around reparations for slavery and systemic discrimination is growing. From the historic injustices of slavery and Jim Crow laws to the continued impacts of systemic discrimination, the need for reparations remains a pressing issue. While programs in cities like Evanston are a step forward, the debate on how best to address these historical injustices continues. As a nation, we are grappling with the question, can we ever truly compensate for our past?